You've got a rewatch podcast called That Was Us.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Sterling K. Brown and Mandy Moore and you every single Tuesday, just looking back at the show.
Yeah,
from This Is Us,
you
or-
know, the show flew by for us. It was, 6 seasons, and, it was one of those shows that was a huge hit that the creator, Dan Fogelman, decided to end. Everybody wanted him to continue on. Everybody wanted more episodes.
The whole cast too?
Yeah, I mean, sure, we would have done it. It was a pleasure to do.
Why? Because the subject matter was pretty brutal sometimes. Man.
Sometimes, but the vibe on set was kind of mathematically. It was just mathematically impossible how well we all got along, and it really felt like a pleasure to go to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the time we finished. We wanted more. The people who loved the show wanted more. And we thought, if anyone's going to do a rewatch podcast, we should do it. And it'll be a chance for us to kind of walk back through everything with the fans.
And that's every single Tuesday.
Yeah.
So far in your rewatching, what's your favorite episode that you were in or favorite scene? I'll give you the floor on this.
Like you were saying in early season 2, the season, Mandy Moore delivers a performance that Sterling and I we just bow down to. She, across the entire show, gives one of the greatest performances ever given on television. But the episode in which her husband, Jack, dies is just one of the most beautiful performances we've ever seen. And so it was fun to be able to go back and watch. And
you made that a subject of a pod?
Yeah, we watch every single episode.
Every episode?
Yeah, we watch every episode.
Forgive me for not knowing. What's the grand total number of episodes?
108.
Dude.
So we're halfway through season 2 right now.
By the way, that's a to use a Dr. Seuss phrase, as you might be reading your show, that's a whopping fine number.
That's a whopping fine number.
I mean, 100 episodes of any television show these days is kind of unheard of. Like even successful shows only do 8-10 episodes a season right now due to streaming.
That's right. That's right.
So,
the whole landscape has changed, and we might not have been sure at the time that we might have been like the last dramatic hour-long network television show that had that kind of run. We'll see.
You might be right, which is kind of wild. But I understand. I know we were talking about it all the time.
Thanks.
Of course.
So much, yeah.
Go for it, TJ. I don't mean to interrupt.
Well, I'm from Pittsburgh, so that was the draw. A friend of mine, actually, and we brought him up earlier. It was Ashton when you guys first premiered.
Right.
I think by episode 4, he asked me twice, "Have you been watching this show?" He goes, "You're going to love this. Take my word for it." And he was right. And I started watching it. But I'll tell you this, and I hope it sounds right. This show was so good, man, that I had to stop watching it at a certain point because at the end of every episode, you're so emotional.
Yeah.
And and I'll be honest with you, there were times where I cried watching This Is Us. And it got to the point where I needed a break after like season 2, 3. Some of the stuff was so good and it was so real. I was like, I gotta take a week off and just like get this out. Because that's how, and I mean this in the greatest compliment I could give you. It was so good. And it was so emotional that I had to step away a few times. Like, all right,
thank you so much.
Give me a week off of this before I jump back.
We got that response from a lot of people who watched the show, and that was part of the reason we wanted to do the podcast. Was to like, okay, we understand this can be a lot. How about we go back through this with you, and we'll talk about it together.
So it's kind of let's all reconvene and go through.
Maybe we need a little support system. We'll get you back through it.
It's what it sounds like, you know. And it's interesting that you say that what TJ just said is it's not unfamiliar that you've not heard that. And so I understand. It's very nice of you to give a compliment to a cast member like you did with Mandy Moore, but there is an I in Chris and Sullivan. Give me your character, your moment that you're like the most proud of, or you think stands out amongst this series for you.
I'll give you an interesting kind of a dual scenario.
Sure.
I think it was season 3 when I was first nominated. And when you're nominated for something, you submit an episode.
Yes, of course.
So that the nominee committee doesn't have to watch thousands of episodes of television. You submit one, and the one that I submitted was an episode in which my character has a nervous breakdown. And on the day I shot it, I came home and told my wife, I said, well, that was my shot and I missed it. I didn't show up today. I'm not sure what happened. I just didn't feel it.
What do you mean?
I just wasn't. So a lot was happening that day. I was trying to prepare for all this heavy stuff on set. Yeah. I get to set, and it's the first time, and I think the only time we've ever had a split crew, where an A crew and a B crew, and the A crew was off working with maybe Sterling or Mandy or somebody, and I show up on set for this heavy scene, and I know no one. I don't know the cameraman. I don't know the sound guys. I am now expected to have this like full nervous breakdown, and I'm like, wow, this is more vulnerable than I even expected. And so I was just in my head about it, and luckily I have enough training to work through those types of things.
Yeah, man, you're talking Broadway. You don't see anybody in the audience.
Listen. But it was an interesting moment to realize, like, okay, I'm feeling nervous, I'm feeling insecure, but I still have enough whatever craft or skill to navigate through this stuff, and it worked into a nomination.
Dude,
for.
Isn't that the way it works sometimes too? It's like, I didn't get it, we didn't get it. I mean, there are times when we've done segments on this show that I need to be convinced of doing. Yeah. And I'm not having a nervous breakdown, unless Michigan loses to Ohio State.
Yeah, not visibly.
But where Chris, mostly, and some others that are here, who you maybe not have met, like you just met Chris, have had to convince me, let's do it. Yeah. And that's what goes on our Emmy nomination reel. And we got nominated off of some of those segments. Yeah. Which is included watching TJ live on The Price is Right when he appeared on The Price is Right.
I think I've seen that clip.
Not to equate him losing Master Key on The Price is Right with having a nervous breakdown for an Emmy Award nominated performance.
Nervous breakdowns come in all shapes and sizes.
That's correct. Well, we were, because there was a car on the line, man.
A couple motorcycles, Chris.
That's right. He walked out with only a ping pong table and a popcorn machine, man.
That's not nothing.
Right?
That's a good Saturday night right there.
Come on, Chris.
Popcorn machine and a ping pong table.
Oh, my God.
Chris, was that the episode where you and Kay were about the embryos?
Yeah.
Was that the one, trying to see if...
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.